My name is Camille Picot, and I'm the author of Undead Ultra. And like the title implies, it's a zombie ultra running book. It's about Kate and Federico who embark on a 200-mile foot race to save their kids during a zombie apocalypse. So to celebrate the release of the novel, I convinced 14 other crazy runners to run the same course that the characters ran in the book. As far as we know, no one has ever run the course before. We ran continuously day and night from start to finish. There was always somebody running. It took us about 34 hours to complete it. I was really lucky. I really got a group of people that were true adventurers at heart. When I posted the relay, I had a list of requirements, and the first thing on my list was you had to have a sense of humor because the course wasn't marked and there were sections of it that had never been run before. And when you're in an unknown, there's always going to be some sort of variable, something that happens that's not expected. And you have to have a sense of humor if you're going to get through it. How many ticks?
I got no ticks, I don't believe. That's because I run fast.
We literally walked, ran through the last quarter mile of straight deep tweaker, backyard. No, it was fine. Yeah, we were good. We were good. Ate some bugs, we're good.
Yeah, look at it, you're unscathed. Okay, guys.
Hello.
Here's the deal.
Broke as shit. Broke as
HRC
shit.
Staff.
Broken.
Bunch of fucking pussies. I learned the golden rule in San Diego this last weekend. This hand, these two fingers are for squirrel nut butter. This hand is for eating. And the two shall never meet.
Well, the railroad was more of an adventure. I couldn't go as fast, obviously, because it was more about just trying to find your stepping, trying to survive it.
All right, I had my first prolonged stitch, which apparently is what happens when you're not hydrated. And this gets really tight, and this hurts really bad.
Has it been the beer?
I don't think it was the beer.
I loved the railroad, the challenge, just being out in the wilderness.
I'm excited about it.
Isolated.
The urban jungle.
Yeah, I liked it.
I've fallen a few times.
You fall a lot.
I do fall a lot. They call me Crash.
10,000 stickers.
10,000 stickers? Yeah, I'm looking great right now. That's dedication for you right there.
My thing is that I always see cats. My family thinks I'm a pathological liar. I would run to a trailhead, we'd hike with them all day, they'd leave, I'd see a cat, and they'd always be like, no.
Family saw a cat.
What happens on the railroad tracks
Stays on the railroad track.
Come on, Adrian! Yes! Adrian!
Numero uno!
San Julio. It's pumped up. Amazing.
No Julio!
Shotgunning.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Oh my God, girl.
Nice job. There's a fucking Sun Devil, baby. Thank God.
I think I'm in love.
I started running when in 1998. I was 58 years old.
That's awesome. And how many ultras have you done?
I have done, I think, 6 or 7 ultras. 150 mile, the rest 50 Ks.
Wow.
And accidentally, maybe a few more 50 Ks.
So you prepped for a 50-mile race in 4 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We're used to hearing that, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are crazy.
That's crazy.
It's a common thread for us ultra runners.
Look at that, you can write your own notes here. Note-taking, multi-purpose couch.
Optional extra. Protein run.
Oh, we are finishing the Undead Ultra Relay. 200 plus miles of madness. Madness. Railroad tracks. Ultra marathons.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And what plan are we on?
Plan Q.
only 18 after.
8:18?
Should we see like the
8:19.
Oh, it's 8:19. All right, we're only 20 minutes late.
9.
No.
You guys know where you're going?
No, wait.
Yeah.
To the Cloverdale Train Depot. Hey, first day! Yeah! To have a zombie book where it was plausible for runners to embark on an ultramarathon distance run, it had to take place in a part of the country where they could actually run. If you were in Southern California in the middle of LA, it would be pretty hard to run 200 miles without getting eaten or caught up in the apocalypse. So I picked Northern California because it's sparsely populated and there are lots of areas where you could run. And Northern California is also my home, and it was really fun to write a book that was set in a place that was special to me, that I really love, and it was fun to share that setting with readers and people that haven't been to Northern California and experienced the beauty for themselves. One of the fun things about trail running and ultra running is the challenge of pitting yourself against the course, and I think the railroad really provided some great challenges for both the relay runners and the characters in my book. So the characters had to get from point A to point B, and I already talked about how we needed to avoid densely populated areas, and I also thought they probably want to stay off the freeways as much as possible. So I got on Google Earth and just started researching roads, and while I was scrolling through some of the areas, I came across the railroad tracks. I set out and started exploring some of the railroads with my friends and the setting, and it turned out to be a viable way to get north. One of the things that I encountered when I went out running were the stickers and the foxtails. I mean, I was covered from ankle to knee with little burrs and foxtails. There were parts of the course that were completely overgrown, where weeds are taller than you are and you're having to wade through them almost like you're swimming. They were completely unrunnable.
Nice. If this was Snoop Dogg's crop, you can bet your ass he'd have harvested it by now. Let's watch an antler go through thorn bushes. Slightly more technical than bombing a downhill. Slightly more of a pain in the ass too. Where do I go?
Detours were definitely par for the course. There was a portion of the railroad that I ran. It was just outside of Willits, and so we're running along and everything had been pretty beautiful and pretty runnable, and then the earth had just completely dropped out. There was probably, it's maybe 100-foot drop off.
It was fun. I mean, it was not hard physically, it was hard obstacles.
Was it really?
I mean, no matter where you stepped, you were in a hole, in poison oak,
Oh,
or
wow.
nettles,
Oh, wow.
or climbing over, I don't know what they
We
were.
didn't take on the 30-meter dirt pile.
No.
We decided no.
Right.
There were sections that were just absolutely impassable. Two of my runners, they went down the railroad tracks for a while, and they were, you know, shoulder height in
Poison Oak,
oh shit.
before we realized that it was probably futile.
I did have a couple of the other runners call us. They wanted to make sure we were still alive, hadn't gotten chased by drug lords or anything. Oh, I'm happy to report we found no marijuana farms anywhere out there on the railroad tracks. It's good, no drug dealers.
Or unhappy.
Yeah, which is not the same case for my characters. My characters actually have a run-in with drug lords. There are a lot of illegal marijuana farms in Northern California. Northern California is home to a lot of vagabonds and homeless people. The farther north you go, you'll see a lot of people with backpacks, either hitchhiking or walking along the roads. So Kate and Federico in my novel definitely had their run-ins with some homeless zombies that they encountered out on the tracks. And while we were running, a portion of the railroad actually runs through a homeless encampment.
We just ran through Thunderdome right here. We ran through the little crazy shanty town, the homeless encampment. They all wanted to talk to us, and we almost recruited a runner, but she didn't have any shoes on, and she only had a bikini on, but she had her head shaved, and she was looking good.
And then this is our new friend, believe it or not, he trades protein bars for selfies.
All right. Good. Oh my God, that is so
We were giving away protein bars.
Little hazardous around Willits. Two of my runners had a leg, and a car's tire blew out.
So we heard a car coming out of the road and kind of like an explosion.
An explosion? Oh, from the tire?
Well, from the tire, and then there was like smoke and dust and from the side of the road. Skip jumped probably like 5 feet in the air. He was in front of me. Whoa!
As soon as the car would pass us, it was so dark. They would pass us and then see us. Yeah, and so you'd hear this thud, 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 thud. So they'd actually pass us and then hit the grades. Instead of like trying to avoid us, they'd freak out as soon as they saw us and then thud, 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 thud.
It was cold at first, but you know, it warmed up definitely. So it was a good wake-up call.
We'll interview just like we ran. You were up there.
He almost killed me.
How so?
You know? Well, he gassed me. I was behind him the whole way for 9 miles. He gassed.
dusting?
I wasn't sure if he was giving me power or he was killing me. He said, most likely I'm killing you.
And it actually turned out to be a really beautiful experience. The people that got farther north and were doing the nighttime running, they all just came back with these stories about how beautiful it was. There's no ambient light as you get farther north. And the stars are just gorgeous. We had a little bit of moon out. And we were at some higher elevations without trees, and it was just beautiful and peaceful. This is Casey and Chris, night runners. Night runners. Ultra runners are, I would say that not only are they tougher than the average person, unlike the average person, they really embrace pain. You don't set out to run 50 or 100 miles without knowing that at some point you're going to be in pain, either physical or mental. And it's just part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's part of what makes the great story, and it's part of what makes the journey.
Yeah, and it's kind of that just sucking it up and pushing through it, right? Because for the most part, it's your body will keep going. It's your head that wants to give up.
Yeah.
So it's how long can you go and how strong is your heart? Because your body will keep going unless it's broken. And even then.
Unless the foot's broken. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, I mean, you got to be tough. You got to be able to physically and emotionally take a lot of tough things. And I think ultra runners definitely do that. And just the fact that they willingly sign up for this stuff and willingly submit themselves to situations where they're going to be in physical or mental pain says a lot. And I think they definitely would be the ultimate apocalypse survivors.
You know ultra runners are tough just by looking at their toenails or lack of them.
Is there anything to give a pity to?
Yeah, this part right here.
Bless Michelle for sleeping with
That part right there.
Okay.
All right.
So at mile 18, I come running in, and Michelle's at the aid station, and I'm like, I broke my toes. Give me my other shoes. And so she gave me the Huacas. I put them on and took off.
At any given time, I'm down 2-3 toenails, and the other ones are all black.
You feel the pain, but then you don't stop. It's kind of like weird masochist.
Yeah.
Something like that. Weird. I love it.
Brother. A big part of the book, from my perspective, is studying the relationship that runners have with their sport. It was really fun in the book to explore, you know, why these characters run, and they talk about it internally and with each other. And for Federico, it's really the key to his sobriety. When he gave up drinking, he took up ultra running and threw himself into it. The other character, Kate, running had just been a lifelong passion for her, and it really ended up being something that saved her when her husband died, when she lost her husband. You know, people always ask runners and ultra runners, like, why do you run? Why do you do this? This is crazy. It hurts. It's hard. Like, why do you get hurt, you get injured, you fall. Why do you do this? And it's fun to talk to people about why they run. 360 on the beautiful scenery. This is why we run.
I run probably for sort of 3 reasons, but one in particular. Life motto is to smile, and running makes me smile. The second is I now get to help others run, and so I like to make other people smile, so running helps do that. And then last but not least, just a little bit of competition.
I think I run just to keep everything in balance more than anything. It's just something I do. I've always done for 40 years.
I think you just want to feel like a deer in the forest.
Yeah.
And you just want to run and you feel free. And sometimes it's to solve problems. It's a meditation. And sometimes it's because you're meeting people and you have to.
Yeah, the guilt.
But I love it, and I love the feeling it gives me.
I needed to move, exactly. And so I started running around the block, and there's a little park behind my house, and I just kept running, and I put my kids in their little playpens, and I just kept running around. And well, one day I just ran off the block. It was a safe place for me. So people often say, "Oh my God, you could get hit by your car." And I'm like, I die happy. I love the community. Definitely ultra running and trail running is a different community from the road running that I used to do. And they just take you in. You just become part of the family.
I'm a recovered addict. Okay, and in March it was 9 years. A year after I stopped drinking and using, I gained weight, and I had some tests done, and the doctor said I had to take meds, and I don't like to take meds. So I told him I wouldn't take meds. So he says, "Well, you're gonna die then." He says, "Well, I don't wanna die." He says, "Well, what else can I do?" He says, "What people don't wanna do. You gotta change the way you eat, and then you have to exercise." So that's when I stopped eating meat and started that. Well, I eat once every 2 months. I eat my huge hamburger.
Good for you.
But I say I exercise. He says, "What do you do?" I say, "I lift weights." He says, "That's strength exercise." He says, "That's not going to help you.
You need cardio."
Cardio. So at that time, they closed the gym where I was going, and I decided that day that I was a runner. So I took up running, and half a mile later, I was dying on the side of the road. So it wasn't just about saying that, you know. I still do what I did when I stopped drinking and using, but I needed a passion.
Yeah.
And I found it.
The Avenue of the Giants is a famous road in Northern California, and like its name implies, it's home to the giant, ancient, old-growth redwood trees, and it's beautiful. It was actually a pretty important location in the novel as well, where Kate, the main character, is coming to terms with her grief and over the loss of her husband, and some of her moments are in the Avenue of the Giants. So it was special for me as well to be there in this place that was so special to my characters. And when I was researching the course, I realized it was a perfect 50K, which is the usually the entry-level ultra marathon distance, 31.5 miles. And I was thinking, oh, somebody's got to step up. I mean, we've got a ultra marathon relay. Somebody's got to do this ultra distance. So I put it out there. I had some people looking at me cross-eyed, but I had a runner step up, Chris Thomas.
Alright, Avenue of the Giants. Didn't tell anyone. This is a really big run for me. 6 years ago, lost my dad to cancer. haven't been on the Avenue of the Giants. Since then, this is one of his favorite places to come. He must have brought me here hundreds, thousands of times. So, this is really special for me. Here we go.
32 miles on Saturday, 31 and a half on Sunday. Hell yeah, go Chris! Yeah, woo! This is the end. Is it the end? Okay, it's the end. Yay! You're a beast.
That's fun.
Wait, see the glasses. Put the glasses on.
Nice job.
He just ran a 30K or 50K in these awesome glasses.
My awesome glasses.
He found them.
Oh my gosh.
When I was out on one of my legs, a couple of my runners went dumpster diving and they found this CPR dummy. They just had them all dressed up and they found a pole at the end of my leg and they had this torso mounted on this pole when I ran in, and it's like, oh, it's our zombie. So I named him Steve the zombie. So Steve came with us, and on the very last leg, we took him out of the car and we ran the last mile and a half of the race. We ran it all together as a group, and Steve the zombie came with us.
Zombies win again!
We smell like zombies. Is that our sacrifice?
I started running with them, and you don't think they're very heavy, but CPR dummies, for the record, they're kind of heavy. I was having a hard time keeping up with the group, so I passed the torch to my friend Tracy, who's much more rugged than I am, and he carried Steve all the way to the end. And we put him on top of the sign at Humboldt University, and all cheered.
Our top male runner was Chris Thomas. He ran a total of 65 miles over the 2 days, one of his legs being the 31-mile Avenue of the Giants. And Jordan Costello ran a total of 50 miles.
So I'm not sure what was more fun, writing a book about running or actually having an excuse to go out and run new courses. I think ultra running is a crazy awesome sport, and it's kind of a fringe sport. It's not something that you see covered on ESPN. So I wanted to share this amazing, crazy sport with readers and other people that wouldn't necessarily ever come across ultra running in their day-to-day lives.
Staring out the window, and I think about my day. Things I've done right, going my way. Gone down on my knees, reflected and prayed that I might learn from mistakes that I've made. We take the bus, we take the train. We go by car, we go by plane. We're riding overnight, going God knows where. God knows where we'll find it, God knows when we get there. Staring out the window, and I'm thinking about my life, thinking about my future, like well, even I need my